Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss about a pattern growth approach for mining frequent item sets. In many cases, the a priori candidate generate and test method significantly reduce the size of candidate sets, leading to good performance gain. However, it can suffer from two non-trivial costs. A priori faces certain kinds of disadvantages. Here we have two disadvantages. It may first one is it may still need to generate huge number of candidate sets. For example, if there are 10 to the power of frequent one item sets, then obviously we need to build 10 to the power of 7 candidate two item set. This is one kind of disadvantages of your a priori. Second one is it may need to repeatedly scan the whole database and check a large set of candidates by pattern matching. It is costly to go over each transaction in the database to determine each transaction in the database to determine the support of the candidate item sets. This is second disadvantage of your a priori. Under that, because of this reason, we are preferring FP growth algorithm. The first scan of the database is same as a priori, which derives the set of frequent items, one item sets, and their support counts. Let the minimum support count be 2. The set of frequent items is sorted in the order of descending support count. Initially, FP tree prefers a priori algorithm, which derives the set of frequent item sets, one item sets, and their support counts of frequencies. Initially, it will prefer a priori algorithm. Then let the minimum support count be 2. The set of frequent items is sorted in the order of descending support count. See here, this resulting set or list is denoted by L order. L order is nothing but descending order. Thus we have L equals to I2 7, I1 6, I3 6, I4 2, I5 2. Initially, we are concentrating single items because your FP growth thing follows a priori, because a priori initially it will builds the one item sets and then its support counts. An FP tree is then constructed as follows. First, create the root of the tree labeled with null. Scan database D a second time. The items in each transaction are processed in L order. The thing is sorted according to descending support count, and a branch is created for each transaction. First, if you want to build FP tree, you need to build a root node. You need to construct root node that will be labeled as null. For example, the scan of the first transaction T100 I1 I2 I5, which contains 3 items I2 I1 I5 in L order, because as I told that whatever the transaction you are facing, whatever the item you are facing under that transaction, those items should be arranged in L order. Leads to the construction of the first branch of the tree with 3 nodes I21 I11 I51. How many times occurred in that given transaction, we need to mention that count for those items, because here under that first transaction I1 occurred 1 time, I2 occurred 1 time, I5 occurred 1 time, where I2 is linked as a child to the root I1 is linked to I2, I5 is linked to I1. The second transaction T200 contains the items I2 and I4 in L order, which would result in a branch where I2 is linked to the root and I4 is linked to I2. However, this branch would share a common prefix I2 with the existing path for T100. Therefore, we instead increment the count of the I2 node by 1. That create a new node I41, which is linked as a child to I2 2. See here how you might have observing this particular figure. We will discuss about this figure in coming slide. See, they are given a transaction database table. That particular table contains two things: TID and then list of item IDs. This particular table contains 9 transactions T100 to T900. Each and every transaction contains their own set of list of item IDs. Here, uh, we are going to construct AFP tree for this particular transaction database. First, initially, we need to build, we need to construct root node. That root node is labeled as null. Then we can concentrate first transaction. Now we are going to concentrate first transaction, that is T100 contains I1, I2, I5. Those items we need to arrange it in L order, that is nothing but descending order, I2, I1, I5. How many times occurred in that given transaction? Like first transaction means I2 occurred one time, I1 occurred one time, I5 occurred one time. So I2 can act as a root for I1, I1 can act as a root for I5. I2 can act as a child for your main null. I mean null is nothing but root node here. I2, put 1 for I2, then put 1 for I1, put I5, put 1 for I5. Then just go to second transaction T200, I2, I4. Order is I2, I4. Increase the count of I2, then again just derive one more node from I2, that is I4. Put 1 for I4. Then T300, I2, I3. I2 is already there, increase the count of I2, just draw the one more node from I2, put 1 for I3. Then T400, items are I1, I2, I4, order is I2, I1, I4. I2 is already there, increase the count simply. I1 is already there, increase the count. Then again I1 to I4, like just draw one more node from I1, put 1 for I4, because I4 is derived from I1. That's why just put 1 for that particular I4 node, because I4 is occurred one time under that particular T400 transaction, because just increase the count of I1, then increase the count of I2 under that node. Then T500, I1, I3. Order is I1, I3. See here, we have constructed one more right child here, like I1 to I3, because why we considered this right child means, if I can consider left child I1, because I1 is derived from I2, because I1 can act as a child for I2, because according to this transaction T500 transaction I1, I3, order is I1, I3. Here I3 acts as a child for I1. There is no other nodes under that given transaction. If we can face I2 under that, obviously we can add, we can increase the count for I1 under that left child, because I1 is derived from I2. If suppose if we have I2 under that given transaction, because there is no I2 and then other things here, only we have I1, I3. That's why we are preferring right child. We are building that particular node under that right hand side, like right child. That I1 can act as a right child for your root node. Here I1 can act as a root node for I3. Just put 1 for I1, then I3. T600, I2, I3. I2 is already there, increase the count. Then I2 to I3, increase the count. T700, I1, I3. As we already designed, just go to right child. Just put 1 for, again increase the 1 for I1, then increase the 1, like add, not increase, just add, whatever, nothing will happen. Increase or add 1 for I1 and then I3. T800, I1, I2, I3, I5. Order is I2, I1, I3, I5. Just increase the count of I2, I1, I3, I5. T900, I1, I2, I3. Order is I2, I1, I3. Increase the count of I2 and I1, I3. Now entire value, just add those values, whatever the content you have added to those nodes. Null, I2 7, I1 6. I have shown dotted symbol from I1 to I1. Just count 4 plus 2 6, then I4 2, I3 6, I5 2. Like this we need to construct FP tree. Next we need to build conditional sub pattern bases. First here, according to the first column, item is there, conditional pattern base is there, conditional FP tree is there, frequent patterns generated. We have 4 columns. So you might observe here we have only 4 items, because we neglected I2 here, because I2 have larger value. Because of that reason we need to remove that particular node from this particular item sets. That's why here only we have 4 items, I5. See, conditional pattern base, if I can concentrate that particular row, I2 comma I1 is to 1, I2 comma I1 comma I3 is to 1. How we got this particular value means, say here, according to that previous figure, we have only according to that particular figure, we have two I5s. You might observing over there, we have two I5s, I5, because if I want to reach, if I want to traverse to I5 means we have two paths, because I2 comma I1 to I5, I2 to I5, because with this particular thing we can, I can reach I2 comma I1 one path, I2 comma I1 comma I3 one path. We have two paths to reach your I5 node. Then if I can come to conditional FP tree, count that particular how many times I2 occurred under that conditional pattern base. I2 occurred 2 times, I1 occurred 2 times. If I can come to frequent patterns generated, I2 comma I5 2, because just make it set of I2 comma I5 2 times, make a set of I1 comma I5 2 times, make a set of I2 comma I1 comma I5 2 times. Then if I can come to I4, I4 we have two paths. If I want to reach to I4 according to that figure, I2 comma I1 1, I2 1. Then count that, I2 is to 2, because we neglected I1 here, because the support count of I1 is 1. According to that given support count is 2. They have clearly mentioned that support count is 2. It should not less than that particular number. That's why we neglect that particular I1. Then make a set of I2, then I4 2, then I3, I2 comma I3 2, I2 2, I1 2. We have three paths to reach your I2 I3 node. The thing is shown under previous figure, whatever the figure we observed in previous slide. Then again conditional FP tree, I2 4, how many times occurred under that this thing, I2 4, I1 2, then I1 2. Frequent pattern generated, I2 comma I3 4 times, I1 comma I3 4 times, I2 comma I1 comma I3 2 times. Then next node is, next item is I1. Only one path we have to reach I1, I2 to I1. The support count of I2 is 4. This is about a conditional sub pattern basis. Thank you.